Welcome to Tennis Sucks. We are inside in an undisclosed location. Where are we, Graham?
Undisclosed location.
That's all we can say?
Yeah.
Undisclosed location.
Okay. Got it. All right. So yeah, you're looking at some court footage, not a Crescent Lake. It is absolutely pouring down with rain. We've been rained out pretty much every single day for the last like two weeks, I think. But that wasn't a problem for you, Travis, because you were playing inside in Vegas this past weekend. Tell us a little bit about how that went.
I mean, not great for me personally, but the venue was really cool. It's actually incredible. Like, we were obviously in Salt Lake the week before, and how quickly the PPA staff gets courts from one location to the next is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the venue at the Fountain Blue was really cool. They had these rollout courts, kind of like we have here, but they put them on this wooden platform. And so the ball did not bounce very high. It made it really challenging. There were some serves that like even rolled. But with that said, like at the moment, the venue is more important than the quality of the courts. And I thought the venue was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were inside like a ballroom, inside the...
Yeah, like a big conference center.
But what was it? The hotel?
Fountain Blue.
Okay. I don't know anything about Vegas, but I guess that's a pretty iconic venue.
It's an iconic venue in Miami. It's a
Miami,
brand new
It's
venue
new
in Vegas.
Got it. Okay.
So-
Makes sense. Yeah.
The hotel itself apparently isn't doing very well, but it's a beautiful hotel.
Yeah. Are you a gambler, Graham?
I used to be a bigger gambler than I am now.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I gamble with investments, not so much like on tables.
just risking life, you know? Not
I mean,
so
it is
much.
it's the same.
Yeah,
It's
you're right.
gambling.
So what was your game of choice? What did you play if you were to go to the casino?
The most fun game, I would say craps and roulette were my two big ones.
Oh, okay.
But
Nice.
I played blackjack and I played cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, Omaha and Hold'em.
Okay.
I mean, I think the best part of Vegas was Share Bear stories. Just
Oh,
the
yeah.
guy was, special.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it.
Yeah,
72
yeah.
hours, maybe. I don't know. And then, of course, we got to play with Agassi, which was incredible.
Yeah. Okay. So how did that all come about? So he was there just watching the tour, or was he there for other reasons? What was going on?
No, he lives there. So he lives in Vegas still. And that's where he's from.
Okay.
But I've become good friends with a guy who was kind of like a frenemy, more an enemy when we played tennis, Justin Gimelstob, who is now Agassi's agent and manager. And I knew Justin was going to be there. We were communicating back and forth. And he just said, when I lost, I said, hey, if y'all want to play tomorrow, let me know. And so we got a group together, 6 of us total, including Justin and Andre. And we went out there and played probably for 3 or 4 hours, had lunch, and then played again the next morning.
Wow. That's cool.
And he's fucking good, man.
Yeah.
Like really, like it sounds like I'm hyping him, but I'm not. He would legit have the best third shot drive on tour right now.
Really? Damn.
Just laces it. And of course, he's using a very, very, very powerful paddle. But he's hitting the shit out of it and like inch over the net time and time again.
Wow. That's wild. So if he was to just compete on the PPA tour right now, how do you think he would do?
Singles or doubles?
I guess both. I don't know.
Singles, I don't really know his mobility, but I don't think he's immobile. Doubles, he's learning, and he's certainly not bad. Like I'd probably put him at a 6-0, maybe right around that range.
Okay.
But he's relatively new to it. He hasn't played a lot of high level games. And
Sure.
of course, he's inquisitive. He's asking a lot of questions about patterns and what he should do here and what he should do there.
Yeah.
And you can tell he really likes it. But if he was to practice a little bit, either discipline, particularly singles, he's very, very fucking good.
So where does that leave you on your theory of him playing against Anna Lee in singles?
Well, one, I can tell you that he thinks he can beat her.
Really?
Yeah, he's pretty certain of that.
Okay.
And whether he can or he can't, again, I don't know how mobile he is, but he looks fit. He looks in very good shape. And if they were just going like toe-to-toe baseline rally, I don't see how he loses. I really don't. So yeah, I still got him as like maybe a slight underdog, but I'm pretty damn sure he could beat her.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. Do we ever get to see that match? Is it going to happen at any point, or is it just a theory? I forget.
Right now, it's just a theory, but definitely being discussed, definitely being pitched to Andre. I think it's possible.
Yeah, interesting. So going back to Vegas slightly, I think you mentioned that they had rollout courts. Did you see the courts they had, Graham? Do you know what they were?
Yeah, they're They're not done by Just Courts. I'm not sure the company
It's
is.
not Pickle Roll. I know that for sure.
No, it's none of those major.
Yeah.
It's,
Oh,
it's
okay.
another company. And yeah, it's this new product they have. They roll it out basically in like one sheet.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. They're like a
And-
carpet kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's another attempt at Pickle Roll.
Got it. Yeah. Because from looking at a lot of clips and some of the stream, like a lot of players were really upset with how the ball was bouncing there. I think that
It's
both,
because it's over carpet. So I'm guessing the Fountain Blue wanted to protect their brand new, probably very expensive carpet.
yeah, right.
So they put a wood frame up.
Yep.
And then if you don't make the wood frame really sturdy and take your time, which I'm sure they didn't, a
Right.
3 or 4 inch tall wood frame,
Yeah.
then everywhere that has give, it's just a dead spot
Got
where
it.
the ball lands. I could physically hear it through the TV.
Yeah.
Like when
Yeah.
the ball hit a dead spot, you could hear the like clunk. And
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. That was tough. I saw there were at least 2 players, both Jaume and Rafa Hewitt, both flipped off the court, which
both of
was
them flipped it off.
incredible.
I think Jaume got a
He's got a technical warning.
technical for it.
Yeah. It was pretty funny to watch, actually.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, like
Yeah.
the thing was you couldn't really attack off the bounce at times. Like you think you have a high dink and it's like, oh, I'm gonna hit the shit out of this. Oh my God, it's 3 inches off the ground.
Yeah.
So that made it challenging. But again, the venue was so pretty. Like it was cool.
Other thing that was kind of interesting was some of the stuff around serves. This time, not so much about the power of the serve, but it was the Deco getting called at least like 5 or 6 times because his serve was above the waist.
Yeah, I saw some actually stills and it was pretty clear. in
Yeah,
my
pretty
opinion.
egregious, right?
Yeah.
And then Colin was doing something crazy with his serve too. Did you see that?
I saw him do it in practice. I didn't see the match, but in practice, he was like trying to hit some up here as like a joke, and he said he was getting away with it in his match. But I couldn't believe that was possible. But that's what he said. He's like, I'm getting away with it. I'm just gonna keep doing it.
So it's like people are just trying to like see what they can get away with in 2024. I think.
Oh, and they can get away with a ton. You know, like
Yeah, that's wild. Did you see?
Just another thing that the refs are going to have to try to get right.
Yeah, exactly.
Poor
Yeah.
refs.
How many
That's
refs
why
do they have on a court right now? Is it 3?
1 or 2 generally.
2?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
1 or 2. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they're putting 3 out. I haven't seen 3 out there. But that's why the drop serve would just be a better option. It's just easier to monitor.
Right. Yeah, because I think that Deckel actually challenged one of the calls and then got it overturned, which shows how like,
Yeah, subjective it is.
it's just so difficult to like.
Well, what's also funny is he obviously is aware when he is being illegal, but in the moment when he swung, he's like, "Oh, that one was
Yeah.
legal, challenge."
Yeah.
But the other 6 he was called on, he
Right.
knew they weren't right. He
Yep.
didn't challenge it.
Exactly.
That's actually more telling.
Yeah, it was kind of wild. That's funny.
He knows they're illegal when he's hitting them. He's just
Yeah.
waiting to know if he got called.
It's almost like they could just skip the challenge I'd put him and say, "Oh, you owned up to it. Okay, well."
What I'd like to
have it."
ask him is how many did he get away with that weren't
Yeah,
called
exactly.
in his mind?
Probably
Yeah.
quite a lot. Yeah.
A ton. Yeah, the fact he
That's
just raised it up just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of body bags coming from Zane and Tardio, which was kind of hilarious to watch too. Made it very
Perfect.
interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why there were so many in that match, but it looked like it was repeated over and over and over. And a lot of times Deckel now with that paddle, he's not going to try to make the ball. He's just bagging people left and right body. And there's no way to get out of the way. It's
Yeah.
really impossible.
Yeah.
Like that's definitely a new thing in the game. I couldn't remember a year ago having that feeling like, oh shit, I have to be conscious of the fact that if this guy tries to bag me, then I can't get out of the way. So it's
Yeah.
like a lot of times you're almost like backing up, maybe thinking it's coming, and people just rifle it at you.
That's interesting. Yeah. Like it's a
It's
whole other
definitely-
thing to think about when you're at the
It's
kitchen
dodgeball.
line.
I mean,
Yeah.
it becomes dodgeball.
Yeah. Wow. Actually, and that kind of reminds me that so as another shift or change in the way the game is, Anna Bright, sorry, totally forgot her name for a second. Anna Bright tweeted that as the game has gone by, ATPs used to be this incredible thing. We've
Right.
talked about this before. Now that it's almost like Graham was saying that you can defend it, but then there's almost the new defense of the ATP. And it's like,
Yeah, we're
but I
like
mean-
2 or 3 steps past the ATP now. We're at the ATP defense and then making sure you shift to attack the ATP defense or
And where
hit it-
you're aiming the ATP
or
defense.
hit the ATP defense away from the person who's poaching your ATP defense. So it's like 3 more moves beyond just
Or
the
shit, what
ATP.
fucking Pablo did, Tejas, where he just ran through it on the side.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw Kyle Yates do that one time before, but Pablo's was money. It was like perfect timing, in rhythm. Couldn't do it
Yeah.
any better.
I think that ball was out though, if I remember.
What, the one he hit?
Yeah, the one, like had he just let it go, it was like a foot
I
wide.
don't know. It's not relevant to me.
Yeah. It was wild, but I was thinking to myself,
Yeah,
he charged that and that ball was going to be a foot wide.
yeah. Is there a name for the shot if you this is actually for an Ernie, I think. If someone tries to go an Ernie and then you just sort of like block it or hit them body bag
them
them
with
as well. Yeah. I feel like that's a pretty hard shot to execute, but I don't know. Yeah,
I'm not
probably
sure. I've never heard a name for it.
Body bag.
Yeah, basically, I guess you're right. Yeah. But the standouts, though, obviously, Tadio just playing out of his mind, incredible.
Yeah, he's incredible.
And then Anna Lee, obviously, as well. She, I think, pickled almost everybody she played at least once.
No, I think it was in the finals. She had a pickle at least in one game in every final.
Yeah.
Like
crazy.
Crazy.
This,
And I think it was like 6 pickles total throughout the event. It's like,
right.
yeah, no one's close to her, which then begs the question, like, is Ben still the best mixed player, or does he just simply have, far and away the best female? And,
Right.
And I was watching Tardio. He and Jesse played against Staxrud and Rohrbacher, and I was watching just like Gabe's unbelievable. It's insane all the shit he's doing, and he looks like the most dynamic player in the world to me, and probably second is Hayden. Like they're side by side.
Right.
But yeah, Tardio, he just there's so many things he does well, and it's almost like it's boring to him. Like you watch him, he looks literally bored, and he's doing crazy shit.
Makes me wonder if we could maybe set a prediction that at some point we'll see a Tadio and Anna Lee mixed pairing.
It's possible.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. As the game evolves, like I think 3 years down the line, things look very different than they look now. In fact, it was kind of cool. Tejas texted me yesterday and said he played in Miami, I think, with 2 twins that are like 14 years old. He was like, dude, these kids are so good. Like, again, it's the first real iteration of pure pickleball players.
Yeah.
And once that like really takes hold, the days are numbered for us, previous tennis players. We're just not going to have the same dexterity in our wrist or hide the shot the same way, and it's over. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure that we'll see Anna Lee, as she's so young, pairing up with other men in the next few years.
Right. So some pretty interesting news. Speaking of tennis, I guess, our buddy on the Smash, Donald Young, has made it to the US Open finals.
I mean, yeah,
Crazy.
Incredible story. Like, I know he's been hitting some, but obviously when he's at pickleball events, he doesn't hit at all. 2 different times I've brought my racket for us to strike balls, and we just haven't had time. So it's not like he's practicing a lot, but he looks really sharp. Like, I've watched every match other than the semi last night. I couldn't stream it, and he's playing great. So I asked him yesterday, I was like, are you sure you're done with this? He's like, man, I'm getting that question a lot, but I'm pretty sure I'm done.
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
Wow.
you're going to fucking win the Open.
Yeah.
I think they're the favorites in the final, if I had to guess.
Well, they knocked out the number 1 seed, right?
Yeah, the defending champs last year in the quarters, which was Heliovara and I forget the girl's name.
How important is the male in mixed doubles in tennis? As important as in pickleball?
Yeah, I would say, yes. It's just different. It's just the roles are different. You have to play it a lot more straight than you do in pickle, obviously. Like, how big the girl serves is generally a huge factor. How well she handles pace, because they're generally not used to seeing guys roping groundies at them. They're dipping. But yeah, I would say it's a pretty equal role in mixed tennis.
And I feel like lefty males would be an advantage because then you can put female forehands covering more of the court, or not really?
No, it doesn't really. I mean, it doesn't quite go that direction. Again, it just depends on everyone's skill set, Like, Donald's playing with a lefty, so the girl he's playing with is on the ad side. Donald's taking the middle with his forehand, and she's playing the ad and hitting inside out backhand fades, and is obviously uber talented. But yeah, no, it doesn't. It's not quite that like cut and dry. Not like pickle.
Do you think that there's possibly any skill transfer from Donald playing pro pickleball to then going and playing tennis?
No, not one bit. But I do think that he's more relaxed. He looks very calm, and which is amazing considering that, it's in theory his last event. And he went there thinking he was going to be playing men's doubles and mixed. He didn't get the wild card for men's doubles. And now it's like, I'm sure the USTA is like, shit, we should have given him that wild card in the men's. He's making this run in mixed. Honestly, like, I hope he plays a few doubles events next year, ATP. he'll need wild cards because there's no points in mixed, but he's playing at a very, very high level. Watching him, it's like shit. He could, if he focused on doubles, he's probably top 5, top 10 in the world.
It's awesome. You think we'll see you at the US Open ever, Graham, with the training you're doing?
You mean watching it?
No, playing.
Come on.
How has your tennis been going?
Yeah, great question.
I feel like I'm not making progress, but my coach, who I pay, says that I am.
I like that was a good distinction there. Okay.
I'll tell you, progress in tennis is not rapid.
I know why people don't like tennis.
Really?
It's hard.
Okay, why?
Yeah, it's hard. The progress is very slow. It's
That's the biggest one.
It's a
progress
different
is very
level
slow.
of exhaustion.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you feel like one of the unique things I found about pickleball is every time you leave, you feel like you could be doing better next time, or you it'll click next time you play. Do you feel like you don't
I'm
get
only
that
hitting
feeling?
like once a week for an hour, maybe
Okay.
once every 2 weeks.
That's
and
not going to do it.
I feel like when I go back after the week or two, it's like I'm starting over again.
You are.
And that
You've made no
hour
progress.
just catches me up. I've made no progress. Then I'm going 2 weeks later and doing the
Got
same
it.
thing over again.
You would be
Interesting.
better off playing like 2 weeks in a row, 5 days a week, and then taking time off because some of the things that you might be trying to work on would like settle
Sink in. Yeah, interesting. You got to build that muscle memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I'm
honestly,
trying to get hitting partners. I've been
with-
working on that recently.
as
Yeah.
a coach, if I had a student that was only taking a lesson once a week, like I would be honest with you, you're never going to improve. You're going to stay right where you are, no
Right.
matter what information you have. I swear to God,
Money
that's what I
well
tell
spent.
That's what I would tell them. I would have that exact conversation.
That's so funny.
But I've been working on getting hitting partners. It's weird. Nobody wants to hit with me.
Really?
Like a beginner. No one's like, yeah, let me get it. I'm trying to go after people that are like college level tennis players. And they're like,
Dion will probably hit with you.
they're like,
That would be a good one for you.
They're
You
like,
guys are like
yeah.
same,
Who?
same rally level.
Who?
Dion.
Dion.
Yeah, she's a good
There
rally
you
partner.
go. That's wild. Last time we recorded, it wasn't quite made public, but obviously there was a letter that leaked from Selkirk about paddle testing and whatnot. I feel like, I don't know that there's too much to add to this, but
You keep talking about this leaked letter.
is it not leaked? Is it not?
I'm just wondering, are
Oh.
you the leak?
No, I'm definitely not the leak.
Like right now?
no,
Is
no.
it being leaked right
No,
now in this moment?
I think it's very public information now.
Oh, is it?
Now it's
Yeah.
public.
Yeah.
Now there's been full chat.
Have you read it?
Rooms on it.
No.
Oh, okay.
But I know you're really
You're
into
not on the
it.
leak list. If I leaked out, you would have got it. That's how you know it's what's hype.
All right, tell me about this letter. They're upset about how Yola got their stuff through UPAA.
There's definitely that. Yeah, there's kind of some accusations about financial interest of Jason and
Conflict of
being in the
interest.
kitchen and whatnot. And I don't know that all of that. I don't know how true that would be. Although I do know that there was a video that someone posted in the kitchen forum of a guy dropping a ball like and bouncing it on the floors at the PPA event. That's showing the dead spots, and it got removed by the moderators on the kitchen.
That sounds about right.
So I was kind of like curious about what if the validity is there, but
I mean, look, I'll say this. In talking to Jason, which I've talked to him quite
Yeah.
a bit, I genuinely think it's a very hard problem. One,
Sure.
there's a lot of moving pieces, but I don't think he has any bias whatsoever or any favoritism towards any particular brand. I think he's just trying to respect the fact that, for at least the remainder of this year, manufacturers have had a ton of inventory.
yeah,
It's very hard to fix the problem right away. But again, I don't think he's being bought or that he's concerned about anyone as a sponsor or what the financial incentive is. I don't think that's in his thought.
makes sense. Yeah. I think that'll be tough.
You know what would make it maybe more legitimate is if UPAA gave Dwell a fast approval, interim approval for
Okay.
the paddle that I currently have.
There you go. That would be
Because then
nice.
they're like, oh yeah, we're not favoring Yola or Dwell. We let another one through.
Right. Well, there was also because Yola wasn't the only one that got banned. I think it was it Rhombus or something else that got banned at the same time.
And then a Vatic Pro also.
Yeah, and so I think some people were arguing that it was all a scheme by Selkirk to get Yola banned, and they used Rhombus and Vatic Pro as a scapegoat to make that theory true. If you really want a
does love a
conspiracy theory.
conspiracy theory, here he goes again.
I believe that one.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, I mean, the rest of the Selkirk letter just kind of called out mainly the.
And they weren't they like discrediting all the testing protocols,
yeah.
like, and I would validate that to an extent. Like, I don't think that the deflection really has anything to do with power. I don't think it determines it one bit, but I do think that the advances in the testing, the stuff that I saw in the lab, which, maybe I'm supposed to say, I'm not supposed to say, was very impressive. And I think they're trying to get the right data. I just hope they draw it back far enough where the game doesn't look like dodgeball.
And USA Pickleball now have their coefficient of restitution test, which is the exit velocity test that everyone's been asking for.
But it's funny. We had a conversation about that the other day. It's kind of flawed. Even that's flawed. Because, so let's say you take a standard paddle. The sweet spot is, let's say, 3 pickleballs big. On the Yolas, for instance, the variation from the power of the center of the paddle to the exterior of the paddle is very minimal. But on a normal paddle, relatively normal paddle, that's like a 25% variation, 30% variation. So now it's like you have to test outside of not just the center of the paddle, but outside. Like how much force is it creating on these, non-sweet spot hits? Because I think one of the things that a lot of people are talking about with the Yola is, I can hit the ball essentially as hard, but I can hit the ball as hard as I want, no matter where on the face I hit it, whether I have body weight going forward, whether my technique is good. So again, there's going to have to be adjustments in the testing, and that's going to keep happening. As time progresses, there's always going to be adjustments.
I don't know why that would make a difference, because the fastest it's going to come off is from the sweet spot. So as long as you control that.
But they're trying to get like an average speed per paddle.
By testing it all over and getting the average speed. But then that would hurt the Yola paddles. Because the average speed would be higher all around. Yeah.
Yes, but
whereas like paddles that are slow but fast if they're taking averages, now the average is lower because the outside is bringing the average down. So you can
I understand what you're saying,
faster.
But they don't know what their metric is yet, and they don't exactly know how low they're going to go in exit velocity. And they need to figure out overall how powerful a paddle is. Like, I guess the point is like, do you take into account that if I hit the ball off center, it's the exact same velocity as I hit the sweet spot, or should there be a premium for hitting the sweet spot like there's in tennis or any other sport for that matter?
Yeah.
Again, I don't have the answers to the questions. I don't know. I just know that there's questions to ask, and they're complex.
Yeah.
They're not straightforward.
No, it's not. And I asked USA Pickleball to send us some more information on their test, and hopefully they'll get some back to us. But it's all a little bit not.
I think it's a little hush-hush at the moment.
Yeah, a little bit still on the wraps, I think. So we'll see.
Are they using that testing currently?
Yes,
or are
they're creating
the
data.
technology?
No, not at events. They're just creating the data now.
Yeah.
I'm saying, but they're not, like, if you submit a paddle USAP, they're not using this yet to
I don't
pass your
believe
paddle.
so,
They're using
no.
the old technology
I
still.
don't believe so, no.
I know APP, I went and had one of my paddles tested with some APP technology that was, in my opinion, very flawed, because what they were testing basically they had this, like, let's call it a sonogram, like you would check for babies in someone's belly. And they were checking like how far away the skin was from the core.
Oh.
But they were testing it. So what they would do is they go all the way down to the bottom of the paddle and test there first, because their assumption is it can't be delaminated right at the bottom of the paddle, right? Like it's still very intact.
Yeah.
And then they test the middle and see what the difference is between way down at the handle and at the core. But the problem is, like, these Yolas, if the whole thing is delaminated and you test the delam on the bottom, and then compared to the middle,
you've got no
passes.
control group.
There's no control group. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was thinking in my mind, I'm like, this is not a good test.
No, it doesn't seem like
this seems to benefit the paddles that actually are delaminated.
It's like the technology, it seems, is getting more and more complex, and we're not anywhere closer to a definition, and also kind of a debate on whether or not the powerful paddles are what we want or not want. I mean, I'm sure there are some people out there that probably don't care about how hot the paddles are. I mean, Travis, do the pros collectively think that the hot paddles are bad for the game, or is there people that think, actually, I don't really care, I like them?
I've never heard a positive about it, but I don't think I've spoken necessarily to the people that it benefits the most.
Got it. Yeah. Interesting. So, I don't know. Yeah. I think we're probably about at least 2 more years before we get anywhere close to some. Yeah, maybe.
There's definitely a business opportunity there. Someone knows the equipment to measure these things. There's a lot of people looking for accurate measurements.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. 1 second. Rowan,
come here. Rowan, come here. Do you want to paddle in a ball and you can go hit over there on the wall? Yeah, but you can't. That interrupts their game, baby. They're playing a game. That messes up their game. What you should do is learn to get good at this game so you can play the game. Wonderful.
All right, so in super random pickleball news, we've got some new inductees to the Pickleball Hall of Fame.
Interesting.
Have you ever heard of the Pickleball Hall of Fame, Travis?
No, didn't know it existed.
Have you, Graham?
I have.
Okay. Do you know?
I thought there was more than one, but this is the official one, I think.
Is it?
They're probably the ones that got it secured. Trademark.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's it. Do you know who got inducted?
Palliates and Simone.
Yep.
I did not know the third person you were telling me about, who is a contributor, not a player.
Right. John Gallo was the third person. He was the guy that started the Tournament of Champions. So, but yeah, Simone and Kyle, I think if I was to think about a Pickleball Hall of Fame, seem pretty legit.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Hall of Famers, right?
Is it too early, though, for Kyle? I think it's too early. Don't you put people in the Hall of Fame when they stop playing the sport?
Right. I mean, Simone kind of went into retirement and came back out.
People get in the Hall of Fame while they're still actively playing?
Not in other sports.
So, yeah, what's the rush here? Let's get some of these. Are there some old schools we can go grab?
Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be some older people.
Like,
I don't think there's well, let's just say that. Like, maybe they're trying to open like a Hall of Fame, a business like people come to, or they don't have any players to sell. There's no retired players that are like worth the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So there are. It's just no one knows about them. Like so
Ernie. That's my point.
Or who's the guy that used to body Nasty Nelson?
Yeah, they got to put
Nasty Nelson in the Hall of Fame.
Wait, I guess I never really thought about the fact that Nelson would be a guy, a real guy.
Yeah. And everyone talks about him.
Okay.
Like he's infamous.
Got it.
So what he did was to like start out matches, he would hit you with the serve to like set the tone.
Oh,
and they named it the Nasty Nelson.
That's amazing. Yeah. Wow. Where is this guy now?
I think he was a good player. I think he's down in Naples.
Yeah,
Yates
he needs to
knows
be
him.
in the Hall of Fame. Anyone with a shot named after them needs to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, that would make sense. Yeah.
But how can you prove that? It needs to be proven.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
I've heard a lot of stories out there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
We haven't heard some stories. What about like oh, this is maybe controversial, but what about like a paddle manufacturer like the Barnes Brothers?
I don't know who that is.
The people who started, aren't they the people who started Selkirk?
Oh, I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, maybe in due time.
Yeah,
contributor.
Yeah, it would be like if they who invented thermoform paddles or like some sort of technology.
I used to know this. Is actually thermoform. I don't know, but carbon fibered paddles with honeycomb cores were invented like in the 70s. Believe it or not.
Really?
It wasn't even a new thing.
Wow. That's
happened
wild.
to be an engineer that worked in a place that used that material, and he took it home and made it a paddle.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So, are there any other players then that you could think of that would be Hall of Famers or like close to Hall of Fame?
No.
I just think it's too early for those two, in my
opinion.
opinion.
I would assume obviously so. Ben, a lot of these guys will end up in the Hall of Fame, but it should be a couple years.
Ben
out.
and Anna Lee are guaranteed.
Yeah, I would say there's a long way away for that though.
Oh, I know who.
Who?
This definitely should go in the Badger.
Oh yes. I forget his name now.
How are we forgetting his name? This is so bad. Not Gingrich, but this is so bad. We're going to edit this. You don't know who the Badger is?
No, I don't.
The guy who
he commentates now sometimes too.
Down and, right?
Yeah, why do I can't remember his name? Althoff Merchant will be in 100%.
They can go in now. So like, those guys can go in now.
Oh, yeah,
that's fair.
yeah.
So like if you're senior tour, then you can go in.
Senior tour,
sure,
go in.
That should be in. That's the good metric.
Yeah, I mean,
like that guy won a ton of U.S. Opens. Get him in. Dave Weinbach.
That's it.
Dave Weinbach.
Weinbach. Okay.
You don't know who
I do know the name. I just don't think I've ever really watched many matches with him, so I don't even know.
And you don't know his shot? Every time he hits, he...
Really? Oh, I didn't know
Go
that.
watch some footage. I know you're watching footage now, but go watch some old school footage, man.
Okay.
Come on.
I will, I promise. That's so funny.
But yeah, he won a bunch of Yates's U.S. Opens with him. He was his partner before Ben Johnson on the scene.
Wow. Wild. Okay. All right. So we need to be
Weinbach,
get us on the nomination committee. We should be kind of.
They might already be in there. We just don't know it. We probably should check out the Hall of Fame.
Honestly, yeah. When I did the research for this, I did not look. That's funny. That's it for recap stuff. So then, like, we had those two back-to-back PPAs, and then is there a break now until the next event, or what's going on next?
I leave for Atlanta on Monday. It's going to be funny because I'm playing with Donald. So it's like, I made the joke with him. I'm sure you're practicing very hard.
Right.
You've hit a lot of tennis or a lot of pickleballs. He did go buy City Pickle though, and at least like checked it out, but I don't think he hit any pickleballs. But yeah, I got Donald leaving on Monday, and then Jade also there.
Nice.
And yeah, man, it's straight back to it. And then home for what? A day, 2 days, and then off to New York City?
Yeah. Yeah, because New York City, September
19th to the 22nd.
22nd? Yeah. So, yeah. Has the Smash, the new makeup of the Smash team have not played together yet, right?
No. In fact, Krista wrote me asking when our practice was, and I don't know. Like, there's so little time. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be Wednesday night or Wednesday afternoon.
Oh, there in New York.
Oh, but before you're saying.
Yeah, she was saying before. Like, are we doing anything in St. Pete? It was like, shit, I don't know. We're home for 48 hours.
Yeah, that's tough. So yeah, I guess, I mean, depending on what Donald does this week or weekend, I guess we'll see whether or not he builds some momentum or whether he...
Yeah, no, I think he'll be loose, having fun and confident. Like,
yeah.
Look, I wouldn't blame him. If the guy said to me, hey, I want to party for a week and I'm not going, I'd be like, I get it. Do whatever you want to do, buddy. You deserve this.
Yeah.
You know, like, sure. I'm not worried about, and I'm certainly not worried about
Has he ever won a slam in anything?
In the finals in the French Open once with my old partner, Santiago Gonzalez.
In men's doubles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was he a better doubles player than singles player?
No, he probably is, but he just played a lot more singles because he was good enough that there's so much more money in it. But he's a very, very good doubles player.
What's the mixed team win at the US Open?
That's a good question. I want to say it's probably like 90 each.
All right. Well, I think that's it. So I don't have any other topics for you guys.
What about predictions for the rest of the US Open? Donald obviously is going to win.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Have you been watching it then, Graham? You're paying attention?
A little bit. I told Travis I thought Fritz had a chance, and he's gotten further than I think.
I think he
Travis
does have a chance now. Oh, no, he's definitely gotten further than I thought.
Than
I thought he would
would.
lose to Zverev.
So I'm sticking with Fritz because he's an American.
Yeah.
I was pretty pissed. Yesterday I had TFO. I took the bet, and because Dimitrov retired at 4-1 in the fourth, the bet was void. So it didn't go through.
Why do you retire? Because he's injured?
Yeah, he was injured. And then even like my bet, I had over 3.5 sets, which was a lock, by the way. I'm crushing it. I didn't get that one either.
Same. That's well.
So yeah, I think Medvedev's going to beat Sinner tonight. I think Fritz is going to beat TFO relatively badly, which isn't the general consensus, but I think 3, maybe 4 sets. There she goes. And women's side, I'm gonna take an outlier. I'm gonna say Pagula pulls it off. Go, Joey. Good for you.
Did you see that stat where that female player hits Sabalenka hits bigger
yeah,
forehand?
And I got a comment. I hate that, but I have to do it. Well, because one, they use a different ball.
Why do you hate that you have to do
because
it?
Because they don't.
You don't have to do it. You're doing it.
I do because it's uninformed.
Oh, they're trying to pump up the WT. Or they're trying to
they just don't say what's important. Like they use a regular duty Wilson ball, and the men use a heavy duty, extra duty Wilson ball. It's much slower ball.
Oh,
substantially slower.
I didn't know that.
And then, like, it doesn't take into consideration, which I love the fact that, yes, she's hitting the shit out of the ball and she crushes it. It's flat. But the guys are hitting that same speed with a slower ball and 60% more rotation. Like, what are we doing here? She thinks she's really hitting the ball like a man? Come on.
It's cool to think. That's what I felt.
Of course. And they do it all the time. And they used to do it with like Serena serving. They'd be like, oh, Serena has the 4th fastest serve in the tournament. It's like, yes, with a regular duty ball.
Damn,
like
that's
it's
wild.
like take away 7 miles an hour.
That's so we got
tennis.
Tennis kind of.
I'm actually
cool
really loving tennis now. Oh, I have one more thing. This is actually a good one.
Okay.
So I was talking to Agassi about his infamous comment, which is on Stack Athletics shirts, by the way. Do you know the comment I'm talking about?
No idea.
Pickleball is where tennis player go to die.
Oh,
okay.
No way.
Agassi said that?
Well, he said it at the slam. And for whatever reason, I brought it up. I was like, hey, this company uses your line. Like, you might want to look into that. And I was saying it was a joke, but he was like, that was perceived wrong. And I was like, yeah, it didn't come off great. Like, it sounded like basically you're saying it's like golf where people go to just sit on their ass and not get a workout. And he was like, yeah. I said, you even stumbled after. He's like, yeah, I did. I stumbled because I knew right away it didn't come off right. And what he meant to say was pickleball is so fun that if you've been playing tennis and you go play pickleball, you're done with tennis. That was the implication. I was like, nobody got that, man. He was like, you didn't get that? I was like, nobody got that.
It's
no,
like
that's history being revised.
You
No,
think so?
it's not.
No.
I'm telling you, no, it's not. There's no chance.
That would be wow. You really like changed my mind immediately.
He's
with
just
that.
he's just a grump.
I was like, wow, that's so nice that he really clarified
Yeah,
it.
But I thought
right.
for once-
That's because he's so tied into pickleball now.
Yeah,
He's
the-
like, oh no, what
Yeah,
I meant
yeah,
was
yeah.
pickleball's amazing.
That's crazy.
It is amazing. And look, I played like 10 games in a row with the guy in 120 degrees. He fucking loves it.
Yeah,
he can't get
obviously
enough.
does love it.
He
That's
can't get
funny.
enough of it, honestly.
That's so funny.
And so he meant to say it in a positive way, but as soon as he said it, he was like, oh shit, that came off wrong.
yeah,
And then he was like,
Very wrong.
and I don't remember what he said after, but it was like, no, he's walking it back. But
We gotta go find this clip.
yeah,
go find the clip.
exactly. Well,
All right.
tennis sucks a little less during the US Open, but
Yeah, let's go. Let's
but
go,
generally
US.
it sucks for the podcast purpose. So yeah, thanks everybody, and
Thanks.
yeah, we'll see you next time.